Welcome everyone to the Power of Financial Independence, COVID and Beyond, presented by the Center for the Women of New York in collaboration with First Central Savings Bank. I am Victoria Pilati, the President of Center for the Women of New York, and I'd like to introduce Cecilia Venosta Weigel, our Vice President and Program Committee Chair, and Malini Shah, our Director and Marketing Committee Chair, and of course, our esteemed guest speakers, Anna Marie Valon and Patricia Fulton, who are Vice Presidents in the Business Development Officers at First Central Savings Bank, which is a member of FDIC. So a little bit about the Center for the Women of New York. Since our founding in October of 1987, the center has shown that women working together can be an effective force. We are a voluntary nonprofit organization dependent on dues from our members and on the volunteer efforts of business, professional, and community women and men in New York City. At the center, we believe education is a cornerstone of women's economic independence. We advocate strongly for women's full equality by partnering with like-minded organizations and elected officials. Whether we're marching for worthy causes, celebrating women's accomplishments in leadership, the arts, or sports, camaraderie is a hallmark of CWNY. We've come a long way since the second wave of the women's movement in the latter half of the 20th century, and while there are many struggles ahead, we celebrate how far we've come.
Hi, everyone. The center's current services now are caregiver phone support groups for different women groups. We have conversational English as a second language classes weekly. We have a legal support team that responds to your messages via email for any consultation you have. We have referral services, webinars on women's issues, such as this one. We have, for women in crisis, we have counseling on one-on-one with a social worker, as well as a support group. Our upcoming events are book clubs. We're looking for someone who to run the book club. So if you know of anyone or if you will be interested, please contact us. We will have career workshops, computer classes, financial literacy series, which will be kind of a continuation of this, but it will be starting in January. We'll have a women artists exhibit and a working group when the weather allows us to do that again in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm happy to say and invite you to join CWNY. We continue to provide educational programs. You can donate. We have a link, be a member, become a member, or volunteer. You can download this PowerPoint presentation at cwny.org past events in next few days.
Your questions will be addressed after the presentation. Please use the chat box at the bottom of your Zoom screen to ask any questions. You can do it at any time of the presentation, and our panelists will respond at the end. If you dialed in, please email your questions to events@cwny.org. Again, events@cwny.org. Okay, I have the pleasure to present Anna Marie Valon. She has worked in banking for 27 years. Welcome, Anna Marie.
Thank you.
She's involved in community service through her dedication to nonprofit organizations. She graduated from Queens College with a business and communication degree. She's married to Paul Valon, our New York City councilman in District 19, and they have 3 beautiful children together.
I'm happy to present Patricia Fulton. Welcome, Patricia. Patricia has spent her entire career in retail branch banking in an effort to help clients maneuver through life's challenges and milestones while supporting their banking needs. Her clients are extension of her family. She loves what she does. She was instrumental in creating a financial literacy program known as Finance Park in an effort to educate high school and college students and prepare them for the future. She loves spending time with the family, an avid supporter of breast cancer awareness. She continues to work and supports several nonprofit boards today. Today's agenda: the power of financial independence, COVID and beyond. And I'm happy to present both our guest speakers, Anna Marie Valon and Patricia Fulton, Vice Presidents, Business Development Officers of First Central Savings Bank.
Thank you, Malini. Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to quickly, before we start, thank you for having us. Thank you, Dr. Victoria Pallotti, Cecilia Malini. We're extremely honored to be able to speak at such a wonderful organization that has worked over 30 years to advocate for women empowerment and education on all levels. It's just such an important place for all women to come together and learn and grow from each other. It's nice that everyone is here with us today, and we're wishing you health and safety during these times. Before we start, we just wanted to introduce our bank a little bit and what we're doing.
Good evening, ladies. Thank you very much for inviting us and letting us be part of your little family. I think that it's important for any woman to have a strong financial relationship with their bank. And that's one of the reasons why Anna Marie and I do what we do. We've worked for a lot of different financial institutions, and First Central Savings Bank, I would compare it to a boutique bank. You know, we find your need and we try to offer something that will help you in your future. Boutique, private bank, call it what you want. At First Central Savings Bank, you're not just a number, you're a person, and we really take pride in what we do.
What I'd really like to start off with is just basically talking about us women and where we are in today's world at all different stages. Some of us are single, some of us are married, some of us have children, some of us are taking care of our elderly parents. Some of us have, witnessed our family and friends being sick during this COVID time. What I think is one of the most important things for us to remember is that we have to build, come together, and move forward. So as women, we've always been used to putting everyone else before us. Taking care of ourselves is usually the last thing on the list. The most important thing to remember during this time is that it's never too late. It's never too late to take control of your financial independence and take care and control of your future. I just want to step back a little bit and just talk about the fact that it's only been 60 years since women have been able to open up a bank account. It started in the 1960s, and it wasn't even that long ago. In 1974, the Equal Opportunity Act passed, which prohibited credit discrimination on the basis of gender. So, ladies, what I wanted to start off with is basically saying we can stand on our own 2 feet. We can take care of ourselves first so that it's better and we're better able to take care of our loved ones. And it's really important that we make ourselves a priority. I think we need to start building our financial future, and taking control is probably the first and most important way that we can do that.
We talk about this a lot, and in the financial services industry, many times clients come to us after the fact, after something tragic has happened, after they've lost a spouse, after they're going through an ugly divorce. It's very, very critical as a woman that you know exactly what's going on in your household. You know how much the mortgage is. You know who holds the mortgage. You know who holds your mortgage insurance. You understand how much you're paying out on a monthly basis. You know, what does that electric bill cost? What is your cable bill costing? Understanding who has it, who owns it, and then empowering yourself by being in control of it. Often we see clients who come in and go, I have no idea, my husband did everything. Well, that doesn't work anymore. It's very, very critical. You understand what's going on and you're able to talk to it. So get a handle on your bills. Sit down while your husband's paying the bills. Get a feel for what's going on. Take a look at your bank statements. It's very clear on there how much your monthly mortgage payment is, how much your cable bill is, your telephone bills, and start to understand and get a hold of this. It's very, very important that you do take control of that.
Pat is absolutely right. Knowledge is power. That's how we're going to gain our independence, is basically understanding clearly what our entire picture looks like. We just have to identify exactly what's going on in our lives. And sometimes people don't really want to put those pieces together because it's not something that looks really great, or, the whole pie doesn't look exactly the way they want it to look. But I think once you identify and once you're clear about what you have and what your financial identity looks like, and you have control, now you can move forward. That's going to gain you your control. You have to really kind of decipher in terms of getting there what your needs and what your wants are. And I think that's a good topic for us to discuss as well.
And I think something very critical is, in this world of COVID, we all go to the supermarket, and what used to cost us $125 at the supermarket is suddenly $175, whether it be your Lysol wipes, your toilet paper, your paper towels. Well, everything's jacked all the way higher. And now we're in a situation where, we're spending this extra money. So again, wants and needs, now it's coming into play in a different kind of way. So again, understanding what your expenses are, managing according to those expenses, and then starting to think about budgeting. Budgeting and allocating money to handle the Lysol and the paper towels, and maybe an extra COVID test if you do have to put any money out of pocket. These are all things that that are now new to us, but something that's critical, and now definitely fall into the wants and needs, where before it was, do I want a car, or do I, save for the car? We're not at that situation anymore. We're being pushed into a much more important situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really starts and can start with the littlest thing. Everybody uses the Starbucks coffee as an example. Everybody loves their Starbucks, even though I love my Dunkin' Donuts. At the end of the week, that really adds up. I mean, you can make your own coffee at home, and that little bit that you're saving at the end of the week, it's going to make a difference. I think what we can do is also bring about some confidence in us, like, hey, I did that. If I can do it this week, I can do it next week. And then by the end of the month, from month to month, you can start seeing a difference. It's about setting deadlines for yourself when you are budgeting. It's about setting goals as well. But the problem with goals is you want to make sure that your goals are realistic goals and they're not extreme goals. You want to take it day by day, week by week, and month by month. You don't want to set a goal up that you're going to fail for. So I think it's a discipline that you have to make it a habit. And this way, if you budget and you set those goals, you'll be more prepared for any type of emergencies going forward. I think sometimes you have to really take a comfort level in how you set about those goals. Some people still like to write things out on little pieces of paper, which unfortunately is me most of the time. Some people are really fancy and make pie charts. Some people are on the computer, they're on QuickBooks or whatever it is. But I think the best thing is you have to do something that works for you. And if it works for you, then you're consistent with it and you'll continue to do it. Because if it's something that is not comfortable for you, then you're not going to continue with it. And your budget and your goals are going to seem like, you're never going to be able to reach them. I think one of the things that we have to also look at when we're talking about our financial future is our savings and also a rainy day fund.
One of the things people do not look at consistently is, you have a paycheck that comes every week. You have the ability within your own company to set some money aside, pre-tax dollars, for yourself. This is a way of budgeting without actually feeling the pain of budgeting. It takes that money, it sets it aside for you, it's pre-tax dollars, and you don't have to think about it. But it's there if you need to. Many people don't realize that you can borrow against a 401k to buy a home or for an emergency, and then you're paying yourself back. So these are options that are available that people really just don't take advantage of. I'm not saying everybody should do it, But to borrow against your 401k, it's an option that a lot of companies offer you, and it gives you the flexibility of, you know, getting that tuition for school or whatever it may be. And then again, it comes right out of your paycheck to pay yourself back. So you're paying yourself. The other thing that I see far too often is people getting caught up in the debit card scenarios where, well, I have a debit card, so I'll just use my debit card, debit card, debit card. And what happens is, if you were to actually pay cash for these transactions on a weekly or a monthly basis and hang on to those receipts and then hold the receipts and then look at what you spent. Was it worth spending it? Did you pay extra money at an ATM or a place to purchase something, an extra $3 or $4 to take money out of an ATM that isn't your bank's ATM? So all of these little ways that, you know, you don't realize, even a debit card can get you in trouble. But if you have that cash in your hand, if you're actually holding on to it and you have to give it up to buy that Starbucks coffee or give it up to buy that, you know, Panera Bread salad, you're going to feel it. And then holding on to those receipts and just actually looking at what you have is a way for you to absolutely understand what you're spending, and a great way to budget.
So just to go back with what Patty said on the on savings, even if you do $5 a week, you're going to feel some type of accomplishment. What I've known to be told is you should put away about 10% of your income towards your savings. And I know that sounds almost undoable these days, only because of the economic environment that we're in with coronavirus and people losing their jobs. But I think even if you just put a little bit of what you have, you're going to feel some sense of accomplishment. You know, with prices being so high right now, it's like Patty had mentioned, with the Lysol and the toilet paper and just regular shopping, just putting a little bit away. Because, you know, things happen in life. There's no way we can control unexpected expenditures. We might need money for tires, medical expenses, fixing our home, whatever it could be. I think that the overall consensus at times from I heard in the industry and within just being in there 6 months of your salary is something accomplished to have. I mean, you feel good about having that. It also takes away anxiety and stress if you do have a little bit of a savings.
Who has anxiety?
Who has anxiety and stress? Everybody has anxiety and stress. So if you have a little bit on the side for things that are emergencies, things that you weren't planning on having, it'll make you feel so much better. And I think also, as the next topic talks about building a relationship with your bank, I think that within building a financial identity, you do need a relationship with your bank. And we wanted to talk to you a little bit about doing that.
Yeah, understand, people assume that when you go to a bank and you establish an account, well, it's just a bank account. But if that bank account is not managed in accordance with the bank's policies and procedures, what'll happen is it'll tarnish your record. It'll tarnish your financial record. And you will think, well, it was just at this little bank, I'll just go try another bank. Unfortunately, the banks do talk to each other. It's a bit of a communication they have, and a company by which, if you don't manage your account accordingly, you get reported and to one company that all the banks will utilize. So very, very important, establish a relationship with the bank and manage the relationship correctly, because it does impact your credit. When you go to apply for a credit card, or you go to apply for a loan, or you go to apply for a mortgage, on that application somewhere it will be bank information. And so you want to be able to use that bank as a reference. Going to a check cashing company to cash a paycheck, you're giving somebody $5 or $6 of your money. You worked for it. They didn't work for it. So why are you giving it up? Where banks are not going to charge you to have an account with them. They're going to charge you when you overdraw your account or write a check against funds you don't have, but they're not going to take a piece of your paycheck every time you go to cash it. So very, very important, establish that banking relationship, manage it correctly, establish a rapport with somebody. I mean, we sit in branches, we talk to our clients, you know, they are family. I've gone to brisses and funerals. It is what this is who we are. And in most cases, people in banks get into banking because we're trying to help people. You know, we don't want to see you when everything's gone south. We want to be there upfront. We want to be your outlet, and try and get you over that next hurdle so that you're not in a jam.
Yeah, and I think just asking questions and, you know, trying to understand the products that fit you best at whatever point in your life you're at now, because it might not work now for you in terms of an investment, but it might work, you know, down the road. So as Patty was mentioning before, establishing a relationship with your banker and bank is something great to have, but also managing your accounts properly. When she spoke about overdrawing your account or writing money out that you don't have, not only will you get red flagged with us or with any other bank, but you might be asked to leave a bank. And once that starts happening, that's just going to follow you around for no reason. So what you need, not for no reason, but for a reason that you don't want, basically. So just manage your accounts properly and really establish a good banking relationship and ask questions. There's nothing that you should fear asking. And if you don't understand it, let them explain it to you again, which I think is really important. I think we should also talk about credit card applications, because as well as credit cards work in building you credit, they can also work against it. So let's talk a little bit about that, which I think, yes, she flipped the screen. Okay.
One of the important things people need to look at is what interest rate are you paying for that credit card? And are you getting any benefits? Are you getting cash back? Are you getting 3% cash back? What's the perk? Or are they charging you an annual fee just to be their client? You know, take a hard look at your credit cards, see what's out there, see what you're paying on them, and get rid of the big guys first. If you're paying 25% and you've got one paying 14, well, get rid of the 25. Hammer that one every single month a little bit more, and then slowly but surely work your way down. You know, having credit, having a bunch of credit cards with no balances on them, but having credit lines is being in debt. Because if you decide to lose your mind one day and tap all of your credit cards because you have a nervous breakdown, guess what? That's how banks look at it. They're going to look at it as, okay, so this person really has $25,000 worth of credit cards, even though she only owes $110 on one card. Doesn't matter. They look at it as debt. And there's an income to debt ratio that is utilized in any purchase you get or anything you want to do going forward. And if that income to debt ratio is not there, I'm sorry, you can't get that car you want.
So try not to over apply for credit cards. Right. I think that nowadays you're going to see a lot of promotions where someone might tell you this is a points card or this is a coupon card. And when you're really filling out the application, try your best and read between the fine lines, because by the time you know it, you have 3 credit cards and you're not really using them. And that's really not a good thing to do. I think you should also look at any kind of loans or credit cards, just taking on what you can handle and not taking on what you can't. So just be very realistic when it comes to taking on debt. And that again goes back to the first thing we talk about, is just knowing, you know, the full picture.
I'm going to interrupt here 1 second, because something I think that's very important is people think, well, if I just cut up the card, it's gone. No, the way you get rid of it is you write a letter to the credit company saying, effective immediately, I no longer wish to have a credit line with you. Please confirm in writing. That will make the credit card go away. That will get it off your credit bureau. That will make it disappear. But just cutting it up, no, I'm sorry. That's not getting rid of credit. That's just getting rid of the credit card. So I thought about that when we talked earlier. It is something you have to be cognizant of.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of security risks that go along with all of this these days. Cecilia, you can flip the slide if you can. Just talking about life in general these days and how much of it is online and on the computer with us. So what do? We connect with our loved ones, we shop, We read about the news, everything online between all of our devices, our phones, our laptops, our computers. The one thing we have to be really careful of is identity theft. And there's so many different ways that people can get your information these days.
Absolutely. People will go on and they'll use your child's name, your dog's name, the very common, simple stuff. They'll give you links sitting there and say, oh, I'm sorry, I was just told by your IT department, nothing personal, Felicia, by your IT department that you need to open this link so I can access your computer. Well, guess what? If you didn't get a phone call from your IT department to open up that link, don't do it. This is a scam, and these are the scams that are out there. The same thing works for your home. If you get an email that you're not expecting, don't open it. You don't need to open it. If somebody needs you that bad and they need to get in touch with you, trust me, there's phones are still out there and they work fine. So certain things that will just pop up on your computer and ask you certain information, don't do it. A bank will never call you and tell you to send them money. They will not call you and ask you personal information or passcodes or anything of that nature. It doesn't happen. Actually, it happened to me this week where I got a phone call from Bank of America who basically asked me to verify certain information and yada, yada. I don't have an account at Bank of America, but I was curious because that's who I am, that I wanted to hear this whole scenario this guy is, giving me about why I have to confirm certain information. And well, I just need the last four of your social, and I just need this. And at that point I said to him, well, this call has been recorded and I appreciate all the information you're giving me. At that point, the line was dead. So this stuff goes on. I then called Bank of America's main line to let them know that I'm not really sure how this person had accessed any of my information, being as I don't bank there. But that this was the call, this was the phone number that was contacted. And I went right to their fraud department and they did appreciate the call. But again, this is what I do. I'm in banking and we see it.
So Patty and I, being in this line of work, have seen such horrible things done to people. I've witnessed the elderly coming into the bank and giving their information to people over the phone and realizing that money has been stolen out of their account. So just in terms of security, privacy, passwords, please be careful. There are so many different ways that people try and get this information now. I also wanted to just talk a little bit about the privacy on cell phones, because people like to share pictures, talk with each other on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Oh, by the way, give me your phone. I just want to grab a copy of this picture. Those types of things we have to be so cognizant of, because that's a lot of information that you're sharing that you might not want to, that could lead someone to get even more information from you. So I think security is a big risk in doing so. Before we, look into ending this, I just quickly wanted to talk about 2020 and just all the struggles that everyone's been through between the coronavirus, the economic downturn, just pretty much everything. Your credit history is so important, especially during such an unstable time. Right. I think that during instability is if you do have a savings, if you do have a rainy day fund, that's when you feel somewhat secure. So now that we've gone through this and, we are not only surviving, but hopefully we'll be thriving. We need to be able to get up and, put all those things together in terms of our financial identity, our rainy day funds, and really just learn from that and move forward. Take charge of our own credit is, pretty much the best thing to do, but most importantly, be prepared. I think if we're prepared and we prepare ourselves, we can move towards the future.
And the other thing I will recommend is, if you do get yourself into a situation where you're having a tough time financially, for whatever reason, ignoring your creditors doesn't work. but making a deal with your creditors is probably your best bet. Call them, be upfront with them, say, listen, I'm in a jam. I don't know what to do about it. What can I do? Trust me, they would rather get paid than write you off as a loss. So even if it's $5 instead of $50, in most cases, they will take that. And at the same time, you're going to ask for that information in writing. Get someone's, cooperation and say, can I get a letter in writing to show that at least I'm not a deadbeat and I'm trying to pay my bills in a timely manner? And you can use that to your advantage going forward when you want to get that mortgage, 4 years down the road or 5 years down the road. Having those supporting documents, proving that you really did everything in your effort and tried your best is only going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. So don't run away from the creditors, run to them. And be upfront. I mean, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, this is, the Center for the Women of New York has just been such a great place for women to come together, to share stories, build a community, and just, ask questions. And I think that's really the way to go about learning and growing, especially during these hard times. And that's what we're here for. So we'll be more than happy to take any questions moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you. You have been amazing speakers. We thank you so much for speaking to our members. I'm sure it's like this information is super useful. It's very useful for me. So we really, really appreciate your presentation. Anna Marie Valon and Patricia Fulton have graciously shared their personal information, including their cell phones. So if anyone would like to take a picture of this slide, please do so, or just write down their emails and phone numbers. They are happy to answer any questions like that. But now we also have an opportunity of taking your questions, and our panelists will be happy to respond now. So please feel free to put to write your questions in the chat. Let me check if we have a few people saying thank you and great. We did have a couple of hands raised. I don't see your questions here in the chat, so we can just let me see if I can allow them.
You're on the blog.
It was Samira. You had your hand raised, so please feel free to talk. You should be able to talk.
And
So
also we
unmute
have
yourself.
one caller.
Oh, yes. For those of you who are calling in, please send an email with your questions. Victoria, would you say the email?
It's events, EVENTS @cwny.org, events@cwny.org, and we will share your question.
I think Samira has a question. Please feel free to speak up.
Can you tell me the credit criteria? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Credit, in America, how can I build my credit score?
How can you raise your credit score? Do you know what your credit is? You know what your
Yes.
credit?
I am new in this country.
Okay.
And I am a victim of domestic violence, and I am facing a lot. And I search a job and try to survive in this country. And I want to know about banking. Like, I have a debit card, and how can I get the credit card? And what about the credit score here if I want to buy something in this country?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think what you have to do first is establish a bank account. You do need.
I have a bank account.
You have a checking account or
Yes.
a checking account?
Checking.
Okay. The bank you're dealing with, do they offer credit cards?
I have a bank account in TD Bank.
Okay, so TD does have credit cards as well that you can apply for with them. How long has it been that you've been a client with TD?
It's more than 1 year.
Okay, so that's fine.
Do you have a credit card right now?
No, I have just a debit card.
Okay, so she should be able to.
All right, so
apply.
I would say at this point in time, if you've had an account for a year, more than likely you can start now to apply for a credit card. There are credit companies, I think Credit One is one of them that will offer you a small line of credit if you use it, correctly. They will increase your line. They do charge you to make sure that you're going to be a good citizen. And at that point, once you've managed that account accordingly, you can apply for a credit card somewhere else, or they will drop the rate, drop the fees, as long as you manage it correctly. But you have to use it. You have to have it. You have to use it. You have to pay it back.
Can
but
I get I am on conditional green card. Can I get a credit card? I'm not citizen in this country. Can I get a credit card if I pay on time?
But are you working?
Yeah, I am working.
So if you're working and you have an income, yes, you should be able to get a credit card.
Samira, you know what I also suggest is start where your current relationship is.
Yeah.
So if you already have a relationship with this bank, you have a checking account there, you have a debit card there, you need to go in and hopefully be able to physically ask for a relationship manager there. Tell them your situation, tell them what you want and what your needs are, okay? And then see what they're willing to do. There are certain policies and procedures that obviously every bank needs to go through, but it's always good to hopefully be able to do a face-to-face or just be able to explain to them what your end goal is and what you need. That's very important.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the question, Samira.
Okay.
So we have a question from Jessica. It says, how can we work with the student debt?
Student debt.
Student debt. We all have student debt. Student
I have
debt.
4 kids.
She has 4.
4.
I have 2. So student debt's not easy.
Are we talking about parents or are we talking about the student?
Let's see. Let me see if I can unmute Jessica so she can.
Student.
Oh, you're the student.
Student.
Go back to school.
No, I mean,
I'm kidding. Postpone your debt. No.
Something like 40,000 in federal debt, but I also have private debt that's like huge, and I don't think I'm ever going to get it down.
Well, right now, aren't you still, well, I don't know about the private debt, but right now, hasn't it all been pushed off or postponed, your payments and all, until, I don't even know what they said, December? I think was the last I had heard, is that your monthly student loan payments have been put off until either the end of November or December at some point during COVID. But
that's a really tough one, to be honest with you. It's
you can
really
refinance
hard.
it. I mean, sometimes you can refinance the student debt by calling them and reaching out to them directly. Do you know, who do you have the student debt with? Or the student loans with?
A bank or? Graduated in August 2018.
Is it FAFSA?
So is this debt though with a bank or with a
With the is this
with the government?
government loan?
Is it a government loan? We can't hear her, by the way. Some is with
Jessica?
some Chase, so it's with, and some with government. It's with banks and government funding. Yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two, because I started my my college education at Princeton University and then had to come to Queens College because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you can do with the banks, the Chases and whatnot, as long as it's not falling out under the student loan aspect or it's not a government-backed loan, you can approach them to see if you can refinance it. Maybe extend the monthly payments to increase your cash flow.
Yeah, I've tried that. Especially SunTrust, they're not very, the other one is Wells Fargo, actually. They're not very
Wells Fargo is
flexible.
big. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were very
Wells
big.
Fargo
It's
is
hard to get to someone.
Is it what?
Is it hard to get to someone to like
Oh, of
discuss?
course, absolutely. They don't want to hear from you unless you're paying back, basically.
Yeah.
And if you
That's
call
a
them
real-
and say, I need help or I can't do this, they're like, too bad for you. When are you making your next payment? Particularly SunTrust. And I've been negotiating with these people for 13 years. It took me that long to be able to afford to get out of college, both financially and with time. And I just got a full-time job this year.
That's a really tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, if they're not willing to negotiate, or is there like hardship
There are hardship.
hardship letters?
Oh, they're not interested. I
They're
tried.
not
Yeah.
No.
Wells Fargo, though, has backed themselves into a bit of a corner most recently. If anybody's going to come up with some type of a forgiveness, it's going to be
Yeah, I
Wells
mean, I
Fargo.
would definitely
would-
try again. I wouldn't give up the whole,
No,
trying to get somebody and speak. And I know you've tried for many years, it sounds like, but maybe in this environment with the economic downturn and the corona, I mean, I am sure people are having such a hard time paying back their student loans,
Right. Well, most
especially
of us
not
are.
working. I mean, I don't know what type of time frame they're giving you. Are they willing to restructure? Are they willing to refinance? The question is, what are they willing to do to help you out?
The only thing they're willing to do is an income dependent repayment plan, which it doesn't work for me because I'm in an extremely deep hole of, and not really of debt. The only debt I have is school debt. I have no other debt, but I'm in a very deep hole because I've been supporting my family since I was 12. So there are things I've been paying for that have not been mine to pay for many, many years. I'm 33 now, and I just got out of college at the age of 30.
And you're doing the best you can.
Yeah. Mhm.
Here's one suggestion I'm going to have for you is to speak to an accountant.
Okay.
You're saying that you're financially responsible for other people.
No longer, but I was for most of my late childhood and early and all of my teenage years and most of my 20s.
I would still go back and talk to an accountant. Maybe there's a way that they can structure or send amended.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far they could go back, but an amended return or something to that nature. I think there's got to be a way for you to have been given the opportunity, at least that during that time, if you had an income and you were supporting others, then they should have been declared dependents at some point.
I can't declare my parents as dependents. I wanted to, but I couldn't. My main goal, because the real issue is I'm not going to be able to make monthly payments until I can get myself out of where my family has put me. My main goal is to do that without destroying my credit too much.
All right, here's another question. So you're saying you take care of your parents. Did they own a home?
No, my parents own nothing. My parents have absolutely nothing. My father stopped working in 2003. He forced us to sell the apartment that we did own. He put us another like $50,000 or $75,000 further in debt. My parents got divorced. My mother just finished paying off his debt. He owes another 60 grand to the IRS that I hope will not come down on me. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm supposed to go with my parents' financial mismanagement coming down on me.
Tax attorney.
Yeah, you need to speak to a tax attorney.
Tax attorney. There are CPAs that are CPA/tax attorney types. You need to get one.
Okay.
Because
And
I
what
think-
would you do for
I
me?
think you do have some type of recourse, but you also need to protect your personal debt. And listen, I would reach out to SunTrust and Wells Fargo and, make these people aware of the fact that I'm in a situation I didn't ask to be put in. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
If you want to work with me, work with me. If you don't want to work with me, don't work with me. Trust me, they want you to pay them.
Yeah,
So
I know.
they
they do, yeah.
will, you just have to kind of like strong arm them a little bit. We've all been in these bad situations. I'm no different. I had an ex-husband, so yeah.
Yeah.
He tagged me well and used the fact that I was a vice president of a bank against me. So
I think
you
you
know.
also have to document everything
Yeah.
too. So be really careful on who you're speaking with at these, at whoever you owe money to, whether it's a bank or it's a
Yeah.
private institution.
Get their name.
Get their names,
Get
their
their- right.
information. If you're had a conversation, maybe do a
Document it.
letter as a follow-up so you know who you spoke to. If that person said to you, oh, you know what, call me back in 3 months, let me see if I can help you out, then you contact that same person. And that's always a good way to cover yourself and to kind of manage and bring, instead of looking at a broad spectrum of people within a bank that you work with, you can narrow it down and hopefully build a relationship with someone at the end of the day to be able to work with you.
Right. Because I'd like to buy a house eventually.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
So
know that
you want to be able to set the expectations and then meet them.
Right.
But you can hold them accountable if you set the right expectations. I need to know that you're going to be willing to work with me. What is my time frame? When will you be getting back to me?
And get all their information.
as much
Speak to
information,
a
yeah.
tax accountant, and that's a good start.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate
Thank
it.
And don't be overwhelmed. I mean, what are they gonna do?
No, there's nothing they can do, There's nothing they can do.
Like you said, you're only doing your best, so that's all you can do.
True. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica, for your questions. And Samara, does anyone else have any questions? Please feel free to raise your hand or put your questions in the chat. Awesome. And thank you to our speakers for responding
Sure.
to our attendees. We're so happy we can help our members that way. On that note, here there are some resources that I will let Anna Marie and Patty share.
So basically, I've also worked, again, a lot of nonprofits. And one of the things I've noticed is that there's lots of different avenues that you have the opportunity to reach out to. And so what I wanted to do was just share some of the resources I know that are available that will be willing to help you, from the American Savings Ed, Financial Literacy and Education Commission, the IRS, Pension and Welfare Benefits Administration. This is when I was saying, you can borrow against your own money. Well, they have a website you can look at. The Social Security Administration, the Women's Institute for Financial Education, and Women's Institute for Secure Retirement.
This is just really good background too, background for anybody to learn from.
Right. These are different organizations, all female related. And so, maybe you can get some information, get more information. This might actually empower Jessica a little bit with some of the struggles she was going through. And, if you can use it, great, but I just thought I'd share it.
Thank you so much. Give another opportunity for anyone who would like to ask any last many questions. We have a couple more minutes. And thank you so much. Again, you have been wonderful. Anna Marie.
Thank you to the
This was fun.
organization and to everyone that logged on today onto the Zoom. Yeah, we had a great time, and hopefully we were able to share some information that we thought was important, especially in today's world, in our ever-changing world.
And it's girl power.
And it's girl power.
Absolutely. This information is always relevant, but today more than ever.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Girl power.
People are getting very stressed out, and I think that it's impacting so much.
And having
Okay.
control over your finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
one,
It's not going to cure anything, but it's going to take that extra burden off your back.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's important.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
Yeah, this was great.
thank you so much for coming, and thank you to our attendees for having attended this conversation. And please visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have a YouTube channel. We will be posting this conversation as well as other conversations that we have in different topics that have to do with women's issues. If you'd like to contact us via email, our email address is info@cwny.org. And our phone number is 718-793-0672 or 718-229-0020. So thank you everyone again and have a great evening.
Thank you, you
Thank
too.
you. Good night.
Good night.